In this video, we're going to look at the top 5 lies that marketing companies and lead providers tell to installers when trying to sell them lead generation services, what you need to avoid when picking a provider, and how you can start making the best decision to get more good quality leads into your business. So what are the 5 biggest lies that marketing companies or lead providers tell to installers? First one is we are only selling this lead to X number of installers. So we're only selling it to 1 or 2, whatever it is, particularly if the lead is costing you 20 to 30 pounds. Truth of it is, if a lead is that cheap, it is then definitely being recycled at least 3, 4, 5, sometimes even more times, because from the lead provider's perspective, that model only works and is only profitable, and they can only charge that amount if they're actually providing it to more installers than they're telling you. If it sounds too good to be true, then it likely is. Not saying this doesn't work. There are companies out there that buy 20 to 30 pound leads that are recycled that get success out of it, but I think it only works if you have dedicated people and dedicated resources to be really on top of those leads, call them straight away and call them 2-3 times a day. And because that customer is likely also spoken to a number of your competitors, you also have to be able to persuade them to go with you over the other ones as well. So that's the first lie, and it's probably the biggest one that we hear a lot. Installers coming on, having bought leads from different providers, they go to 4 or 5 installers and they just have no success with it. The second lie that a lead provider will tell you is that their leads are pre-qualified. So without any sort of phone verification, then there's only so much you can qualify a lead. Even some lead providers will say they're pre-qualified and not even have a number validation on. Put quite simply, anyone can fill out a form online. Some of them are going to be great leads, some of them not so great, and the people just generally interested or bored scrolling on social media. So if you are sort of buying these pre-qualified leads in batches of 10, 20, 30, then essentially you're just buying contact data, and the qualifications often little more than do you own your home plus their phone number and address. What that leads to is inconsistent conversions. So sometimes you might buy 30 leads in and they work great. Another time you're going to buy 30 leads and you get nothing out of it. I think that's why when we speak to installers about what they've tried previously with lead providers, a lot of them have worked with the same few companies. Some of them say, yep, they work great. Some of them say they were the worst thing they've ever tried. And I think a lot of it is because there's such little qualification that goes into the leads. It's hard to get that consistency. The fix for most installers will be to work with providers that actually phone verify leads for them before passing them on. That's something that we do. So before we pass a lead to any installer, we check the property suitability, we go through the customer intent, we go through budgets. There's a basic level of qualification and quality of that lead before it goes through to an installer. This is the number one reason why our conversion rates stay very consistent amongst all our installers, rather than having some installers that love us and some installers absolutely hate us. The third biggest lie is that the leads are exclusive. So there's kind of 3 main ways that this claim falls apart. So a lead is ever really going to be truly exclusive if it comes to you through a referral or through word of mouth. It's someone who has come directly to you to fit a solar or heat pump system. Usually you might have done a good job for their family member, friend, and you've been recommended. So they don't feel like they need multiple quotes. They trust you straight away from the get-go to do that install for them. When you are buying a lead in, it's extremely rare they're only going to get 1 quote. So the first out of 3 ways this exclusive claim usually falls apart is that the supplier is just lying to you, and that lead does go to more than 1 person when they're telling you it doesn't. Second one, and probably the most common, is even if it's exclusive from that supplier, there's nothing stopping that homeowner getting other quotes and making other inquiries outside of that lead provider. You might pay a premium to the company for exclusive leads, but that customer is still getting 2 or 3 other quotes off their own back. And then the third one is that that lead is genuinely exclusive, but it's a bit of a red flag because people who don't want multiple quotes, they're usually just information seekers and not buyers. If someone is actually serious about spending, 10, even more than 15 grand on solar or a heat pump, they're going to want to compare different companies and they're going to want to get different quotes. So if leads are actually going through to you, you should ask, why is that? Why do they only want 1 quote? Are they actually serious about going ahead? If you are someone that, when looking at marketing agencies or lead providers, is obsessed with the idea of exclusivity, it's something that doesn't often exist, and you should be more concerned about the intent of the qualification of that lead. The fourth lie that we hear a lot is that shared leads are lower quality, and it's a reason why, kind of based off the last bit I went through, a lot of people are obsessed with getting exclusive leads in. So obviously sometimes shared leads are quality, and leads that go to 2 or 3 installers are generally easier to close than if they go to 4, 5, 6, even more. But shared leads can still be very good quality leads. For example, when shared leads are bad, it's when a homeowner casually fills out an inquiry form, little to no qualification or understanding of their intent, and it's straight away pushed out to 4 or 5 installers to go ahead and phone that lead and try and quote them. All they're competing over then is a customer who's not even sure if they want to buy or what they've actually inquired about. They're just generally looking for a bit more information. They end up spending money on leads that don't go anywhere. However, on the flip side, and this is what we provide, is homeowners installers that are actively looking to compare 2 or 3 quotes. They're ready to buy or close to making that decision. They just want to go ahead and compare multiple options before going ahead with anyone. That is a massive buying signal. Someone who's actively looking for quotes and actively in the position to buy. In that one, shared leads aren't a bad thing. It's just the reality that people do get multiple quotes, but those leads are still good leads because the intent is there. They're ready to buy. It's just about comparing the different options. Rather than getting too bogged down into whether leads are shared or how many people are going around, you should be a lot more interested in the intent of the leads and how that lead provider actually vets them before they come through to you. Because even if you are competing against 1 or 2 other companies, you're much more likely to convert a lead who is ready to buy than an exclusive lead who's just looking for information. The fifth lie that we hear a lot is people that buy leads that are £20 or cheaper and think they're going to see some sort of magic success. We hear it a lot. Companies say that we're more expensive leads than other people and they put all leads in the same bucket. But the truth is, if someone's going to sell you leads for £20 or less, or even £30 or less, really, the likelihood is there's going to be minimal qualification. They're not going to phone verify the lead. They're not going to ask loads of qualification questions. They're not going to do all of those things that actually make a lead much more higher quality and higher intent. Second reason is it's likely resold at least 4 times. The only real way that a £20 lead makes sense for the lead provider is if they can sell that 3, 4, 5 times. That's where they make their money, and it means that it's going to be a lead that's tired of hearing from installers and doesn't need more quotes. And ultimately, if there was some magic source of £20 leads actually converted, then every single installer in the country will be buying them, and ultimately the price will go up. So just like you would tell your customers not to always go the cheapest option, but to look at the quality and the aftercare and all that sort of thing, you should do the exact same when choosing a lead provider, because if you do buy cheap leads, the likelihood is they're not going to work and you end up buying twice. So in order for you to make the right decision when working with a marketing company or when you're purchasing leads, you need to start buying smarter and asking the right questions. So rather than, is it an exclusive lead or what's the cost of the lead? First of all, you need to understand, how is that lead verified? And what happens if it's uncontactable? How do you qualify it? All that sort of stuff, which is much more important. Second thing is to pay for quality and not volume. Fewer better leads that are a little bit more expensive will always outperform a cheaper batch. You'll save a bunch of time, and it's just a much more enjoyable experience speaking to people who are actually interested in what you're selling, and you're not going to waste your time or your team's time just dealing with a load of junk, asking for refunds and all the mess that comes with buying in cheap. Third thing is you just get a lot more consistent results. Any sort of lead provider can say that one installer last week converted at 80%, but you need to understand what the average conversions is from that lead provider for those leads, and how can they actually ensure that the averages they claim are consistent from installer to installer, or are they just sort of cherry picking the best case studies and the best stats? So if you are interested in getting more good quality leads on board, then if you click the link in the description, there will be some more information. As a company, we provide fully confirmed sales appointments, so you only actually pay when you're quoting customers, and all of them are properly qualified. We go through prices, property suitability, customer intent, so you can actually focus on doing what you enjoy, which is quoting customers and installing jobs, and you don't have to deal with all of the headaches that come with inconsistent lead generation or poorly vetted leads.